Hey everyone, it's me and Remy back again today to talk to you about one of the things that I think we need most as a special needs parent. To talk about that, I really need to preface it with the story of whenever I was pregnant with the girls. Our 2020 went so much better than other people's. Remy wants to say hello. We really had a great time during 2020 being at home together. At the time, our big kids were 3 and 2. And then I got pregnant with the girls. My husband was working from home during the pandemic. And we just spent a lot of time together. Hello. Hello. And really, our moment came December 2nd, 2020, when we went in for a 20-week ultrasound and found out that both of our girls had severe arm abnormalities, head abnormalities. They were extremely small, and that they probably had this very difficult diagnosis of Cornelia de Lange. It was just out of the blue. I hadn't known that anything was wrong up to this point, and was anticipating this really awesome life with twins and our big kids, and was never had in my mind that we were going to receive a special needs diagnosis, much less for 2 kids. So it was just a shock. And I went into a pretty dark time of depression during the 3 months that I was pregnant after that. And I couldn't even say really what happened, except that I know I slept a lot. There was a ton of tears. I, was taking medication to try to go to sleep at night, and just a struggle. And I didn't really talk to a lot of people about what was going on at the time. I was just really sad, and went through a lot of grief during that time. Obviously things have changed since then. So, it's been 3 years since Remy was born, and I just feel like now I'm on the other side of all of those feelings and emotions. And I'm so grateful for that. And so I wanted to say today that the thing that you really need to come to as a special needs parent is to find contentment and peace with your diagnosis. So how do you do that? How do you find yourself in a good place? And the first thing to point out is that time is one of the biggest factors. It's good to know that at some point, you might not be okay right now, but at some point you can find yourself okay with a diagnosis. Life will go on again. For all of us, it might be a different amount of time. It really did take me several years to come to a place where I was okay with this life, but just know that at some point you can find acceptance in this place. And that can give a lot of hope too, just knowing it might not be here now, but it will be here at some point. The next thing that I would strongly advise, and that helped me, was just to allow all of those feelings to come. There's such a wide range of emotions. You are having, for me, I was having a baby, having 2 babies, but I was having a baby, and so there is some joy in that. There was a lot of sadness, a lot of grief over how different I knew it was going to be. But still, there's joy in those moments. There's joy with my other kids at that time. I remember playing in the snow with the kids the week before Remy was born, and there was joy on top of a lot of grief. But I think it's just good to allow all of those feelings and all of those emotions to come in, and just know they're a part of the process. There was a good amount of shame that I felt whenever I first heard about Remy, and knowing that she wasn't going to have normal hands. That's such an important part of being a human. And it was so hard to think about. I didn't want to talk about it with other people, but over time that shame has gone away, and just talking about it and normalizing that feeling and knowing that, hey, we feel shame over lots of things. This is not a feeling that's abnormal to anyone else. It's something that we all feel over something. And so that made me realize that it was good to allow myself to feel all of those things, and then let them go after that. And so I've done my best. When things come up and I feel that same sadness again, or I feel that same shame again, or I feel, the grief, I do allow myself time to feel it, but then after that I let it go. And even if you need to set a timer, give yourself 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it takes. Just know that it's good to feel that for a moment and then put that feeling away. The next thing that I found to be really helpful was speaking the truth out loud. As someone who can really get in their head and really, start to get caught up in here, it helped me to start just speaking truth to myself. And for me, that was things that I know that God believes. So what does God believe about Remy? And when I start feeling really sad or feeling overwhelmed by something, I just say, God made Remy for a reason. She's a special person. She changes people's lives by just being with them. She doesn't have to say something like other people do, and just being with Remy means that we feel the presence of God, or we feel closer to God. All of those things that I say, even saying them just now, makes me be like, yeah, of course that's so true. Remy is such a wonderful person. She does bring joy to people, and she doesn't need to do the same things that we do to bring that into people's lives. And so saying those things out loud and speaking God's truth about Remy can really change my mood and change the way that I'm feeling at that moment. And I think that it brings more significance into her life by me declaring those things about her and by saying those things out loud. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, sometimes it is good to start speaking things that you know to be true. I love this child. I'm so grateful that they're with me. And speaking those things out loud can really turn us around. One of the next things that you can do to find contentment is to find community around you. For us, that was really us being involved in our church. We had so many people that loved on Remy from the very beginning, that just prayed for her, reached out for her. I have tons of people online that ask me, for videos or posts, which is, again, part of the reason I'm making these videos now. But finding people who love your child as much as you do can really help on the times whenever you're just feeling overwhelmed and burdened by all of this. It can help to have those people around you that they're going to accept you, and they're going to speak those truth, those words to you that just really lift you up. And so look for people around you. For Remy's diagnosis, there's a group online, and I have found them to be so helpful and so encouraging to have them on my side. The next thing I advise is that you continue to push to live life. So even when it's hard, especially if you have other kids, it can help just to get out and do normal things. So whether it's getting everyone in the car and going to Chick-fil-A, or whatever, you guys do for just a normal day, an easy day, making yourself get out and do something. So it doesn't have to be the most significant field trip, but we have made field trips on oxygen, with oxygen tanks and monitors and suction, all of those things. Through the years, we have tried our best to just continue to push forward and do things that make us feel like a normal family together. And the more that you live that life, just putting it out there and making sure you're doing your best, it can really help to normalize it for everyone and to make everyone feel more comfortable with the situation. In between that, I also do make time to take breaks. I do have a night out where I go out with some friends. I try to go once a month to be with friends. My husband's really great about, giving me a few moments if I need it. And I just make sure that when I need time to stop, that I take that time to stop. There's not much else that we have besides the two of us. Between me and my husband, we take care of Remy 100% of the time. But with the two of us, it is possible. So if you are out there and you are single and you don't have that assistance of someone, you do have to find someone else to trade off with you. So make sure there's at least one other person that can take care of your kid and can give you a break when you need a break, because that has been vital for us, my husband and I, just to relax and to say, I need a break now, and we're not going to go to as many events for other people, but we're going to make sure that we each get the time that we need in order to be our best for our kids and for Remy. The last thing that I just want to remind you that can really help you find contentment in your life is just to give thanks to God for your situation. You have to find a level of trust in Him that He has reason for each person to be in the world, and He is in charge of how long they're alive. He's in charge of how they come, and who they are. And so I thank God for Remy every single day, whether I feel it or whether I don't. You know, it can be really difficult, but I have found that giving thanks and showing gratitude and speaking those things aloud, again, just speaking God's truth out loud, but just saying thank you to Him has changed the way that I look at Remy every day. And so I want to encourage each of you that over time you will start to feel better about your situation, but you can help things along by giving thanks, by changing your mindset, by allowing yourself to feel the feelings and not being mad at yourself for feeling the feelings. There's so many ways that we can work on it, but you will eventually get there. So just know, and I speak it in all sincerity now. I'm so grateful for Remy. I'm so grateful for her life. I would never change anything about her. She's such a sweet girl, and yeah, I have finally found that place of contentment. But it didn't start there, and you will get there soon. So thanks so much for joining us. Thanks so much for loving on our Remy girl as well. And hopefully seeing her life now can help you realize that your life has purpose as well, and that you mean something to God, and your little one means something to God as well. So thanks so much, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye. Do you want to say anything? Bye.